Good day, Ruskin enjoyers. Hope they're alright, 'cause it's time for 48-hour analysis. Basically, in this video, I'm going to look at all the skins of the current Rust store, make comparisons to the previous Rust store skins, to get a good idea in regards to, well, how much each of these skins are likely to sell by next Thursday, and then knowing that, we'll then question, are these skins still holding up to being perfectly fine investments, or are there any potential problems that you need to be aware of? So sit back, relax, and I'm going to start yapping. So, first 24 hours of sales. It's a bit tame compared to previous weeks, yes. But that's kind of not a surprise, so I'll quickly explain. 2 weeks ago, we got the first ever bed skins to be accepted, and that was really, really interesting, and that was like a big surprise, I guess you could say. Even though we know that new skinnables were on the way, lots of people saw them, lots of people were super hyped up, and of course, we got a lot of sales. This is expected to happen with every brand new skinnable for every brand, every month from here and now. But with the focused item of the month as well, with the minus hat returning after what, like 7 years with no skin? And of course, we also had Xenotype collection continuing. There was a lot of investment in here, and oh look, you also had Small Props collection getting a continuation. But the week after that, we got a very strange looking skin right there. We got an awesome looking Thunder Gold backpack as well. Like, there was a lot of interest with like the top 5 skins over the past few weeks. But now over to here, the momentum has definitely like died down. A lot of people bought that Armory Garage Door. Like, you're going to sit and say, but yeah, this right here sold a decent amount. True. But a lot of people thought they had transparency. I've already made a short video talking about this and showcasing it. But a lot of people looked at that garage door, looked at the first image in the workshop, and they thought they had transparency. No, it's just a glow-in-the-dark door. It's a perfectly fine garage door. But a lot of people bought it with that assumption. And I kind of wonder how many people might have refunded it. I'm not joking. So, okay, but still, might still sell quite a bit, but it's also a garage door, and we'll talk more about that in a bit, don't you worry. Now, this is the third instance with a brand new bed skin being accepted, of course, first 2 skins, then the second batch with number 3 and number 4, or technically they're both 3 and 4, but over to here, we can confirm this is number 5. With Halloween Rust stores next week, for the 23rd and the 30th of October, we are expecting some Halloween-themed beds, but I am surprised to see such a quick drop-off in terms of sales after the past, few weeks. But hey, it was expected. We've talked about this with brand new skinnables. I made a video talking about that like a week or so ago. Right then. But then we look at the Pirate Backpack. Okay, 7,600. That's alright. But then it just drops off real quick. The majority of the skins here sold less than 5,000 subscribers after the first 24 hours of sales. Huh. Now you might sit there and say, oh, it's due to a sheer lack of interest. That's fine. I mean, it's not hard to understand, but they've sold so low. I honestly think the majority of these skins are going to sell less than 10,000 subscribers. And you might sit there and say, well, okay then. There's no interest. True, there's no interest at the moment. But what happens with these skins if we see collection continuations? What happens with these skins around January time, post-Christmas time? There's a period of time towards the end of December, rolling into the early parts of January, where loads of people have time off. They're not working as much. They're not, in school, not in education as much. When they return, when we have a lot more people playing around then, if they want these skins, and there's only so many of them to go around, okay, yeah, that's looking pretty interesting then. And, well, basically, I feel like I need to make a video talking about that. Wouldn't be the first time I've talked about how low sales can lead to interesting things for certain skins, but keep an eye on some of these. Boots, the gloves, transparent aim sight sap. I mean, we have a fridge there that looks like it's going to barely reach about 7,000 subscribers. We'll talk more about that in a bit. So, let's now look at the first 48 hours of sales. But before I do that, I should say I'm recording this a little bit later. This Rust store did rotate very early. So, if I could just showcase the first 48 hours of sales. Not that many more sales over the course of the second day. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people who probably, actually genuinely wanted these skins, wouldn't surprise me if it slowed down a fair bit. So, yes, over the course of the next few days, I don't really expect that much more. So, okay, cool. Pause right now if you want to get a quick look at all the numbers, because now I'm going to hop over and take a look at what it looks like right now. So, quick refresh just to be 110% sure. 110% sure, sorry. There. Right, so, yeah, it really looks like we're running out of steam, and it looks like we very likely could have a Rust store where we don't see a single skin reach up to 20,000 subscribers, which would be a surprise. Alright then, fair enough. Let's now talk about all these skins and try and figure out how much they're likely to reach by next Thursday. Armory Garage Door. So I'm not joking when I say a lot of people just looked at this They looked at the first picture like so, and they would have thought, oh wow, it's clearly looking into a room, and they bought it because they thought it had transparency. If you're ever questioning wanting to buy a skin, at least look at all the pictures. You'll have noticed that that's opaque. You cannot see through it. So, yeah, So, it's a garage door as well. This could, only reach about 10,000 subscribers, and it would still sell like not that well. The prices would still very likely go down bad because we've had far too many garage doors this year. But clearly, it didn't do only 10,000 subscribers. Right now it's close to 15. So if we could hop back over to here and do a nice comparison, what could we compare to? Well, last week I was complaining about I didn't really have anything to compare with the Thunder Gold Backpack, did I? Well, now I can compare to that. So, Thunder Gold Backpack, last week you had 9,500 subscribers after the first 24 hours of sales, and you reached just over 20,000 subscribers. However, I know for a fact a lot of people wait to the last second to then make a move. I was one of them. I bought 50 of them. It looked like it was going to hold quite nicely. It had very, lots of good support. The possibility of seeing even more Thunder Gold skins. It was in a good position. So yeah, I think a lot of people wait to the last second. Unfortunately, with this rush door, rotating very early, some people might have missed out still. So anyway, with you, I kind of get the feeling we're not going to see that happen. A lot of people are quite upset that they bought it and realised it didn't have transparency. Chances are quite a lot of people might have refunded. If you're one of them, feel free to comment below. But yes, I get the feeling that that's going to reach potentially between 18 to 21,000 subscribers. Yes, the sales like right now seem to be pretty close to 18,000, but it does look like it is slowing down. We'll keep an eye on it, okay? At the moment, by default, I'm not feeling very confident with it. So I already mentioned that we've had tons of garage doors this year. Yes, as you'll notice. 32 this year. If we get 3 more, we have the highest ever amount being accepted in a single year. No, that is not a good thing for this. Far too many options, and, well, over the course of a year, it's a struggle for them to maintain their interest. It's a struggle for them to maintain their price because of that. So if people are like distracted or constantly looking at other skins, then yeah. What I can point out, some of these garage doors are actually starting to perk up. Yep, it's not just one skin in the positive now. We have 3. Prices are starting to improve. I'll talk a little bit more about that later with the autumn-fall seasonal dip. So yeah, I'm not feeling confident, I'm sorry to say. But by all means, if you looked at it and thought, yeah, that looks cool, and if you're hoping for like a collection continuation, a collection to be built up from it, by all means, buy it, use it, enjoy it, support the skin creator, keep them nice and motivated to keep wanting about nice creative designs in the future. Cool. Iceberg Bed. Now, I looked at the sales, and they're very similar with the likes of the backpack. And if I go back over to here, again, very similar. So, ta-da! It looks like the backpack is going to probably catch up with it a little bit more, but I still expect the bed to, get, a lot of late sales towards the very end. And, well, it's still expected to be the second highest selling skin. But both of these are still close with each other. So, initially, 7,600, 8,000 subscribers. What can we compare to? Well, if we go to the previous week, we have the Black Ops LR300. So that sat there with 8,200 subscribers. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So, literally the previous week, and what do we see? 16,700 subscribers. Now here's another thing. That LR300, that sold for $3 each. A bit pricey for quite a lot of people, and they're not very keen with it, but hopping back over to here, looking at the prices of these 2 skins, $2.49, $1.49. This is a very approachable backpack. This is a really cool looking bed. But there will be more beds in the future. There will be more black backpacks in the future. But we also have the naval update. This is a pirate theme skin. It's got that going for it. Well, pirate theme, we'll talk more about that in a second. But yes, with this iceberg bed, I don't think it's going to be perfectly fine. The sales aren't too ridiculous, but there will be more bed skins. Are we going to end up with a situation like we did last year, where we just kept seeing backpack after backpack after backpack after backpack? If we see bed after bed after bed after bed after bed, you get the point I'm trying to say. If we constantly see tons of bed skins being accepted, there will be problems for this. But if it's going to be different compared to backpack, let's say over the course of like next year in 2026, we only see like 10 bed skins being accepted. All right, that'll be fine. I won't complain. But I'm still concerned. Now, by all means, if you bought it for yourself because you wanted it, that's fine. If you're looking at it as an investment, it's abnormal. We can wait, all right? So, in regards to the bed and the backpack, I think they're going to do between 16 to 19,000 subscribers. Let's see if they keep some strong momentum towards the end of their 7-day tenure. That backpack, with the naval update around the corner, a lot of people, in anticipation to it, they've been buying like pirate-themed skins. I have questioned Do you consider the Pirate Collection to be a pirate themed skin? More in the vein of, this is just basically the gimmick of the pirate flags wrapped around all of these skins. It's not like, oh yeah, I've got like a cutlass sword and a flintlock pistol and whatnot, if you know what I mean. It's my parrot. Anyway, by default, it doesn't look like it's going to match up to the sales of the tier 2, the tier 3, and the hoodie and pants. The boots are in a very similar position somewhat recently. Look at them now. They sold significantly less compared to all of these. Well, you're doing very good, and we're not even going through like post-Christmas. During October, it's comfortably in a positive, up 41%. And if anything, you might want to look at that as a nice investment. Just saying. Anyway, moving on. So, yes, you're looking interesting, and I wouldn't be surprised if you potentially get a lot more sales and maybe even just about surpass this, but we'll see. That is not abnormal, unfortunately. The lower price, still looking very interesting though. So, alright, cool. Let's move on. Night Demon boots and gloves and the BSAP. Very similar sales. And if we could quickly hop over to here, you can see the first 24 hours of sales, it was also very similar. So these, around 5,000 subscribers each, but this, just over 5,500. Night Demon boots and gloves are selling for 99 cents each. BSAP is selling for $2.49. If we were to do a nice comparison, what could we look at? Well, if we just go to literally the previous week's skins, the lowest selling skins of the previous week. That's how much of a difference this is with, you know, the previous week's skins and these week's skins. But anyway, looking at those two weapon skins from the previous week, which didn't have that much interest, this did just over 11,000 subscribers. This did just over 13,000 subscribers. That's not really that much, is it? No. So, in regards to the boots and gloves, we were hoping to see that these could probably sell significantly less compared to the rest of the skins in their set. I'm talking about the hoodie and pants, the tier 3. But tier 3 did 12 to 14,000 subscribers almost. The hoodie and the pants, well, they did what, like 15-ish, 15 to 15,500 subscribers. If this does sell, quite less compared to this, I'm talking like maybe, well, as I said, 11,000 subscribers. All right. If we ever see tier 2, these are in a very, very, very good position. We'll see how it goes. But again, that probably will be the one that does 13,000 subscribers and matches up perfectly with the rest of the set. But you, the boots, well, you're probably more likely to be 11,000, along with the BSAP. So we'll see if the Night Demon collection actually gets that continuation. I feel like the skin creator is going to need to do another attempt for the tier 2. Whilst it was submitted, it wasn't accepted. But who knows? Facepunch might accept it as a very extra late pick for the November 4 swipe. We'll see. BSAP. I'm sure you've seen my short video. If I could just quickly hop over to here. There you go, I've uploaded it today. That right there is a nice transparent aim sight sap. And I don't think we have many of those, do we? No. It's got a nice, you know, yellow and black design. It stands out very nicely at night time. It's got great night light with the yellow coloration. It's getting hardly any sales. And yes, it's part of a bit of a silly collection. But the skin creator was attempting to do weapon skins, and I wouldn't be surprised if he makes some more now. Let's see if it progresses quite nicely. But this right here, comparing to all the previous sap skins we've had so far this year, you know, some of them didn't really stand out super great. Some of them were very unique. Some of them were a bit goofy. Some of them just unfortunately didn't work out very well. But if you're going to sit there and say, if this potentially was to do between 11 to 13,000 subscribers, is that much? Compared to quite a lot of the skins here, it's done more than that then. So, this seems like a perfectly reasonable amount of sales. But will it actually be alright? With all the sap skins last year, they looked to be very, very reliable. They looked, all of them, every single one of them that came out, ended up being a very reliable investment. The difference we've seen this year has been quite surprising. However, how will all of these skins look around January 2026 time, post-Christmas time, the time where we see so many people playing the game that the, you know, demand for skins is absurd. Prices go up to their all-time high peaks. Keep an eye on this. BSAP, with your transparency, maybe you might stand out a bit. Maybe over the course of the next several weeks we'll see more B weapon skins. Do you want to be a B? So, alright, we'll see, okay? It's okay, but maybe we're better off with a lower price buy order, because this is abnormal. The boots and the gloves, however, they are not. So, we'll see how that turns out. Swirled Sword. Immediately, I'll just point out that I don't expect that much from it. Unfortunately, with salvage sword skins, they tend to drop off hard. I'm talking instantly half its price and then lower. So this very likely will just simply be a 60 cent to 80 cent barter. It's not the skin, it's the fact that it's a salvage sword skin. People don't care for salvage sword skins. Look at all the previous skins we've had over like the past few years, and you'll notice every single one of them, like at bare minimum, have gone down by 50%. So, just want to put that out there immediately. So you're right, you know, you're sitting here with just over 6,000 subscribers. Let's compare to what you had. So you had just over 4,002, yeah, almost 4,300 subscribers. What can we compare to? Well, Viridian M39 from 2 weeks ago. This had just about 4,000 subscribers. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at that. So 2 weeks ago, let's get a good look at you, and I can confirm this had almost 8,000 subscribers. I'm going to imagine just that. So looking at this salvage sword, I'm going to sit here and say I reckon you're going to do between 7,000 to 9,000 subscribers. It's still expected to drop off pretty hard. I'm so sorry to say, but I just don't trust salvage sword skins. If you looked at it and thought, wow, that's funny, I need that, by all means, you bought a skin for yourself. That was a treat for yourself. But as an investment, sorry to say, but no. Phantom M39, Senor Tomato Mine Hat, and the Bones Fridge. Let's do all three of them at once. So hopping back over to here, looking at this. Oh no, this is not it. I'm talking about this. Whoopsie. All of these did fairly similar sales. 3,600, 3,700. And if we look at them right now, you'll notice... Oh, sorry. I've still got the picture. There you go. They're still somewhat similar to each other. So, okay, cool. Point made. Can we do a comparison, please? Yes, sir. Right. I want to compare to, like, the Fallen Boots and the Grub DBS. These did not sell that much. So hopping back over to here and looking at about, what, 4 months ago? No, 4 weeks ago, Hedge, 4 weeks ago. These two skins, you were part of a collection, and it's very surprising to see you've doubled up in price ever so nicely. Oh, yes. Here's the Fallen collection, potentially a nice budget desert camo option. And then the Grub DBS, you were kind of freaky. I didn't like you, but hey, I can't hate the design. That had just under 8,000 subscribers. This had just barely over 7,000 subscribers. With the interest of these skins, I'm currently looking at the moment, it's incredibly low. And I do not think these have that much momentum. Like, if I quickly switch back over to here, looking at the skins, as you'll see, 3,700, like 3,500 to 3,700, and then looking at the second day, they barely moved. They barely moved. And I know it's going to slow down even more so over the course of the next several days. I think these three skins that you see right here, I reckon they're only going to do between 7,000 to 8,000 subscribers. Now, with me making quite a fuss about the sheer lack of sales, I can't help but assume maybe we'll see some more sales. We'll see about that. But I am going to go ahead and make a video talking about this. Bones Fridge, currently right now, is the only fridge with, well, ridiculous transparency. And I have a short video showcasing it tomorrow. It's not like game-changing, but it is cool. It's unique. It's different. If you like to be, if you enjoy the primitive life, I feel like a lot of people would appreciate that. But this is also not abnormal, as is the Senor Tomato Miner hat. So it's not like we can wait till the last second, do some buy orders early, with the abnormal buy orders, and get a good early insight. This is very it's literally just going to be like flip a coin and hope for the best. But the sheer lack of sales, this fridge could work out quite nicely. In comparison to fridges in the past, earlier this year, we had the Easter Neon fridge. The vast majority of Rust players do not care about Easter themed skins. It's the truth. We had a very cool looking Easter chick fridge come out. Lots of people bought it because it's funny, it's goofy, it's silly. They'd love to have that in their base. But with the second week's batch of Easter skins, all of those skins had like hardly any sales. This right here, the Easter Neon fridge, a very nice glow-in-the-dark design, but again, heavily Easter theme, barely over 5,000 subscribers. But yet, to this day, comfortably in the positive. Why? Hardly any sales leads to hardly any listings. People can't just unload tons of stock. So it's just always been in the positive. It won't change. But then again, if you look at it and see how many sales have happened today, so can we do that? There we go, 1 sale. It's a bit silly, but yeah, I'm sure you understand. So maybe, if you're very patient, you could buy a few of these, and as time goes on, you can sell 1 a day. Maybe, but I just want to kind of, show the contrast and the not so fun side of like lack of interest with certain skins. With the Bone collection, you could see an interesting collection continuation happen. You could see it build up more so. Same with the Senor Tomato collection. You could see that build up more so. Phantom collection is already a collection that's been around for like 8 years. I don't think the M39 is going to be A-OK, especially with all the M39 skins we've seen recently. And well, Viridian M39, that had literally 7,800 subscribers. Look at it drop off, almost half in price. Then we have the Senor Tomato Miner hat. Very surprised to see the insane drop off. Like the 2 previous skins, okay, Anglerfish Miner Hat, you're cool. I'm not going to dispute that. Angelic Halo, don't even get me started. The amount of like screaming and shouting about the design of their skin actually getting accepted. So, okay, both of you with over 30,000 subscribers, not too surprising. But you, Senior Tomato, whilst you're goofy and whilst you're silly, I guess we could say it's just a bit plain. And if someone wanted a miner hat recently, they very likely would have bought them within the past 2 weeks. The momentum has died with miner hats. There are Halloween-themed skins potentially in the horizon, though. We'll see what happens there, but I don't think people care enough about miner hat skins anymore. Seems to have like immediately reached a halt. There you go. I was trying to think of a word to say, but anyway. These, your low sales will probably help you out maybe, but they'll probably still go below the rust-or price, at least like early on. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point over the course of the next like several weeks, every single skin here will be below their rust-or price. But like in many instances, it might only be down like 5% for some of these skins, okay? So yeah, lack of interest clearly makes itself known. So okay, cool, understood. But by all means, comment below, out of all these skins, do you actually have a favourite? Do you actually have a skin here that you thought, well, actually, you know what, I don't mind that. I know quite a lot of people did like the Iceberg Bed, fair enough. But again, it's another instance of, if people wanted a bed, they very likely would have bought one by now within the past 2 weeks. With all the, the first ever bed skins. Cool, understood. Right then, is there anything we should discuss? So, commits. Nothing's really been said. Cool, they're really working on that chainsaw, aren't they? But it's all just naval update, naval update, naval update, naval update, naval... You get the idea. So, okay, cool. If I could switch over to here, quickly point out that I've made a video, and I've uploaded it today. Autumn Fall Seasonal Dip. Are we past the worst of it? It does look like we are past the worst of it. If you are looking to get a nice, cheap whiteout Forest Raiders or Desert Raiders set, if you're looking to actively buy the set, but you wanted to wait until, when it was at its cheapest, now's the time. Now's the time for sure. So basically, give this video a watch, scroll down, you'll see many chapters here. I quite literally point out when I'm talking about whiteout skins, Forest Raider skins, and of course Desert Raider skins, but I also point out budget alternatives as well. Typically, when, we see hardly anything that competes with whiteout, Forest Raiders, and Desert Raiders, whilst we do have a few budget options, they tend to get bought out as well. Whiteout keeps rising up in price, Forest Raiders keeps rising up in price, Desert Raiders keeps rising up in price. But there are other options you could consider looking at, and I do point that out. So, okay, that's up to you. But I even talk about the Xenotype collection. Right now, the prices have actually started to drop off. Over the course of Halloween, it very likely will drop off more so. But if you've got the funds, keep an eye out on, for all of this, and you could consider, making a move. If you feel confident Xenotype collection is going to work out nicely in the further future, by all means jump in, because the prices have dropped off, and very likely, right now will be the lowest point they'll ever be, probably. But based on what we've seen in the past with like previous storage collections, it would make sense. With the first ever instance of a bad time, they've gone down pretty bad. But when we expect the first ever instance of a good time, January post Christmas time, January 2026, yeah, you'll probably start seeing them rise up quite nicely, and then they maintain a decent price from then on. So cool, understood, all good. So yeah, I don't think there's much else to discuss. I mean, I could quickly look at like the player count. Yeah, it's better, but that was expected. What we care about now is how's it going to look as we roll into November Force Wipe, the naval update. Not too many people are super keen with the design of the boats, and by all means, if you've seen the things that being posted on Twitter and whatnot, please offer me your opinion. Hopefully it's not too bad when the actual update comes out, but don't be surprised as time goes on. They slowly iterate like the designs of the boat bases and whatnot, and they eventually get to a point where people like them. That might take a while, but we'll see. If you really care about the mechanical fun, it should be fine. But if you do like a good-looking boat, they'll probably make you pay for a DLC. We'll see. I'm joking, but hey. Now, I should also point out we're not expecting any submissions over the course of this weekend. And if you have noticed some Twitch drops being submitted, I'm aware of them, but I don't fully know what they're for yet. So if you're in the know, cool. But they're not currently visible at the moment. That very likely might be for December. We don't know what's happening in November, but we are expecting something in November. So November, December, and January, okay? What will it be? Well, I'm going to wait until like an official announcement has happened. So, all right, cool, understood, all good. So thank you very much for watching the video, and don't forget, all the estimates for the skins are located in the description. They're all the chapters. So go look for the chapters in the description. You'll see the numbers next to them, and let's see if everything aligns perfectly with the expectations. Or maybe you might see certain skins sell even less, or potentially get a bit of momentum and sell a fair bit more. We'll see. So catch you later. See you. Goodbye.